Holy smokes, you guys beat me here. Well, sorry, it's been a little while again. Been real busy. This time of the year, we start up our skydive operation beginning of April, and man, there's a lot of work to get going again, get back in the air, and get the plane ready to go, and get people jumping. And anyways, that's all done now, and they're back at it, and we're jumping and having fun. But that's a whole nother story. What we've got here today is some bits and pieces that I've been able to gather up from the scrapyard. And it's, hours driving to get down to the scrapyard where I live here. But I've got some heavy duty steel that I'm going to use to form to make our male and female press dies. This is my first thought. Is it going to work? I don't know. We're going to try it. I'm going to make a couple of pieces of, move this out of the way here, a couple of pieces of angle iron to sit under here to keep this part of the form flat when I put it into the press. We're going to use this piece. I'm going to do the same as I did with this. I put this in my bandsaw over in the dark side. Probably have a couple of pictures. I'll see if I can throw them up here. Of cutting this in half, which was an event in itself. I had to weld some bracketry on it just to hold it at an odd angle so the saw had a long enough throat to cut it. Anyways, parted that off, got this piece ready to go. And now we're going to put on a couple of angle iron feet so this can't rock, make it nice and steady and hard enough to take a few tons worth of pressure. And then we're going to do the same with this one. We're going to part it through here, make the other half in here, build up our form that we need, a lot of selection. So I've got some pieces I'm going to build up to make our female form die here, and then build up and make our male form die on this half. I'll use this heavy duty piece here. I'm going to weld that in here. Once we part this off, I'll weld it in like this, but in this piece, and then with our male press dies on the outside, and that'll give us a good strong flat foot to push and form our piece. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Well, it's not going to be so easy, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be something to see if we can press it out. If we can press out the back half of the hoop for around the back of the seat, then we'll make another, use the bits and pieces, make another form die, and press out the inner half, weld it together so that it looks same as our other piece of metal. We're going to have to form these two halves, but in this shape. So, like I said, it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of fun, but if you're interested, hang around. We'll get going on some of this stuff and see what we can put together. Stick around. Clean up our welding surfaces a little bit, just so when we put our piece underneath here, it's clean to weld on. I'll do the same on this. Remember, these are pretty crude form pieces that we're going to use. We're not production here. We're not going to make a bunch. We're going to make one part for the bike, and it'll go into the scrap heap for something else. So, there's a lot of finishing. A proper form and die maker would make it completely differently, and you'd do it on a CNC machine, and you'd make the set of dies that were perfectly matched. This has to press out two pieces for us that are going to be sufficient for what we're going to use. And it's an experiment. This might not even work. I've got a press, and we'll try that. If I don't get any success there, a friend of mine has a bigger press, and I've got to go work on another aircraft out in Alberta anyway. So I might be able to go do that and press it there. So anyway, we're going to just try it, see what we get. And like I said, we're not going to spend a ton of effort making a super duper male, female die that's production quality. And those pieces are going to fit under there real nice. The other one's just getting cut off in the dark side right now as we speak, so I'll go get that and trim it up. Be right back. Look at that, eh? I think that is going to work just fine. Now this table is probably not terribly level in here. Whoops. Not level in here, but wow. It actually is pretty level. Okay. That at least matches the table. Tack, 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 and then weld her up. But look at that. Nice little welded along there. That'll work. A lot of welding stuff I've seen, it talks about, you know, with a MIG, pushing the MIG or pulling the MIG. I've tried both. I kind of get a better sight picture if I pull it. If you got any words of advice, leave them in the comments below. Let me know. I'm not professional in any of this stuff. Don't you just love welders? Man, you could just do so much stuff. This MIG is a cheap little MIG, but it's working good. Okay, let the building continue. Ideally, you know, a set of dies is polished. It's perfectly smooth, and this is quite crude. It's rough in here, but it's going to be beefy enough to bend our little 18 gauge steel we have there. And I'll do a little more grinding and polishing, no sense videoing that, but get it cleaned up better and as I make my female die here. The piece of the hoop that goes around the back, which this imitates, this piece here on the outside, that's going to be this, where I cut this off is going to be right here, and we're going to form this piece in here in this shape, like this. So this depth here is about 3/8 of an inch. These are 3/8 inch square rod, and that will approximate, that'll sit right in here like this on either side of our die, so that when we press our metal, it forms down into this divot, which will be, these will be laid in here to make our female die. So that's what I'm going to do next, is form these into this shape in here. Stand by. I'll do a little forming and beating, and then I'll get back to it. Show you what I've got.